You're not gonna believe the feature that this builder put in the primary bedroom of this amazing model home right behind us. In just a few seconds, we're about to walk through this beautiful model home and discuss where we're at today and what it truly means to live here in Jacksonville, Florida. So without wasting any time, let's get right into it now. So are you ready to check out this amazing floor plan? Because we're about to get into it, so we're gonna check it out now. So this floor plan here is in one of Jacksonville's newest and hottest communities. And this floor plan's only been around, or this specific model's only been around for a couple months. So, this is probably your first look of an amazing floor plan like this. So as we first come in, you're gonna see here, we do get a little bit of a front porch. Nothing too extravagant. Obviously we do have that hardy board siding throughout for the outside, very typical. But then we get to the inside of the house and right away, you are greeted with some amazing floor to ceiling height here. Because of the fact this is a 2-story floor plan, they did open up the second story to the first story. I love the fact that the builder here did that open railing. It really does add depth to this house and really does make it feel much more elegant because of the fact of having these taller ceilings, which we don't normally get across the board for a lot of floor plans here in Jacksonville, Florida. Now, when we first come in here too, you're gonna notice we have these shiplap walls on both sides. Really ties in that nautical, that coastal element that we're so used to seeing here because Jacksonville is located right there on the coastline. So it very much is a part of our culture here in the area. Now, the builder here did do the tile flooring, which is a nice touch. And this tile flooring is that wood look. It actually is more of that gray, which we don't see too often anymore. But what I will say is the builder did a really good job with this floor plan, with this layout, with the design features, to where the gray doesn't feel too cold like we sometimes see with other homes that have those gray floors. Then right away when we come in, you're gonna see here we have our office right here. Now this office, it's a good size office. It's not the biggest office we've seen, but what is cool about it is, as you'll see here, is we do have a closet in here as well. So with this closet, it is a walk-in closet. So again, if you are someone who works from home, if you're someone who needs to have some storage space in your office, again, the office may not be the largest, but at least you do get that with the closet space in here. In addition, we do have recessed lighting throughout here to go with our chandelier. Now, with these chandeliers that you're gonna see here, obviously those could always be swapped out for ceiling fans. It's just the builder has chosen not to do that for these a lot of times because they think the chandeliers give it a more luxury, more high-end look. But again, they're all gonna be pre-wired and pre-set for ceiling fans as well. Now over here is gonna be our 2 bedrooms and bathroom. We'll get to that in one moment. But before we get to that, let's go and check out also this half bath. So this half bath here is for guests. And even though you do have the full bathroom as well next to the 2 bedrooms, what's nice about this is this does give you a space for guests to use. It does give them the ability to not have to, use any of the bathrooms that the occupants are using in the house. So it does give you that ability for them to have their own space as well for when they're visiting without having to go into other people's bathrooms, so to speak. Next up though, let's go check out these 2 bedrooms and bathroom now. So we have our flanking bedrooms here, but before we get to those, let's just check out the bathroom real quick. One thing I do love about this is it is a double vanity in here. You don't always get the double vanity with the bathrooms when it comes to the additional bedrooms. But in this case, having that does show you the amount of space you have in here. And it's a good touch to have that across the board. In addition, these cabinets here are gonna all be soft close. Something that you could do with the builder, could do after the builder. Something that at the end of the day, if you wanna know what the cost is to do with the builder, reach out to me and I will get you that information right away so that you know, again, what you're walking into if you want to do something like that with the builder. In addition here, we do have our shower tub combo. They did do that large subway tile and they just stacked it for the shower enclosure. One thing I would like to have seen is for them to have gone to the ceiling with it. It's one of those things that just gives it a more complete look. But what I will say is this is a very clean space across the board for your first true full guest bathroom. So overall, I do like that aspect of it as well. Then we go to our first of 2 guest bedrooms downstairs. And this bedroom is a very great size space. You do get plenty of natural light here with the windows. It has a good ceiling height here. And it's something to be said that this specific neighborhood where we're in today, which you will find out more about that as we go through this video, but if you want to know right this second, don't waste any time. Call me, text me, email me. You can schedule time on my calendar through a link in the description of this video, but reach out to me and I can tell you that right this second, as well as the floor plan we're in, but we will go over it too as we go through this video. But as far as for this bedroom, we do have the higher ceiling height, and the builder here for this community, they actually kind of did that across the board for all their floor plans, is they added a couple more luxury items like the higher ceiling height as a standard, but it does make the room feel bigger. They also do give us the sliding doors here for our closet. Personally, I love when you have the sliders there. I personally prefer sliders or just a normal door or French doors, as long as it's not the bifolds. The bifolds, they always break, not something you like to see. So in my opinion, one of those things that ideally, if you have to pay more for it, if it's not a standard to get sliders or just a normal door, I would always suggest it, because those bifolds, with them always breaking, they're just always a pain in the butt to have to put back on or call someone to put back on. So it's easier when you have the sliders instead. Then we get to our second bedroom down here. And the second bedroom, I can definitely tell you, is a little bit smaller than the first. We still do get some natural light here with the window, obviously. We do get the higher ceiling still. We do have some recessed lighting to go with the chandelier. And this one's obviously been signed as more like an office, which definitely does show you that it's a little bit smaller. So they're not trying to hide it either, which I like when builders do that. But here we do have we have an end table with our little day bed. We do have it set up to be like an office. We do have our office table and chair there as well. But we still do get our, pretty standard size closet, but at least we do get those slider doors that I oh so love. So ultimately I do love seeing that. And another thing to mention too as we walk through this floor plan is, one thing that the builder does have with this is they do have those Craftsman finishes for the trim. The Craftsman finishes I'm a huge fan of, because it definitely does give it a more high-end look without necessarily costing what it would cost to buy a high-end luxury home. So it kind of gives you best of both worlds, and it's a very timeless, very clean look across the board. Now you may be thinking, okay, Justin, where are we going next? We going to check out the living room, the dining room, the kitchen? Not yet, because before we go there, we're now gonna go upstairs and show you what the second story has to offer. So now that we're upstairs, obviously, the biggest thing about having the second story is that it does give you additional space, gives you additional bedrooms. So if you are someone looking for a larger house, looking to have room for all of your kids to have their own room, and you have a big family, this could be a great floor plan for you. But right away, as we come in here, let's go check out the second full bathroom. So this full bathroom is going to be for 2 bedrooms upstairs, as well as just for general guest use. But as you can see here, we still have that double vanity, just like we did downstairs as well. So it's a great thing to see there. For the shower tub combo, they actually matched it to the one downstairs. So really it's almost like a duplicate of the first floor guest bathroom as well. Even with the way that they flanked the 2 bedrooms on each side of it, really does make it pretty much the same as the first. Now I'm gonna get right from the screen real quick, just to then show you too that what is cool is you do get a nice size linen closet to go with this bathroom. So that is something that does make it a little different. And again, you can never have too much linen closet space, or just really storage space in general, with any floor plan. So then we're gonna come to our first of 2 bedrooms up here. And this bedroom is going to be your larger of the 2. And right away as we come in, you're gonna notice it's a very well-sized bedroom. We actually still do get some good ceiling height up here as well. And as you can see, we have the 2 end tables, we have our nightstands, we have our queen size bed, we have a dresser here. So the reason I bring all that up is to say that, when you have more furniture in a space, it does kind of give you an idea of just how you can lay it out. It also does kind of give you an idea of just how big that space is. In addition, we actually also have a walk-in closet up here, which is a very good size walk-in. I go through some floor plans with some builders where this is the size you get for the primary closet. So to have this for one of your guest bedrooms is a very nice touch, because of the fact that, again, if you do have someone who's maybe more, a teenager or has more clothing, this could be a great room for them to be able to store all of their stuff as well, without having to go and bleed into a secondary bedroom to get more storage space. Then we have our second bedroom up here, and this bedroom is going to be definitely the smaller of the 2. Similar to downstairs, we have one big one, one small one. In this one, we still have an end table, nightstand. We have a queen size bed still have the dresser as well. But with this one, we don't get the walk-in. So this can be your standard closet size, just like the first two downstairs. Again, we still have our sliding doors. We still have our Craftsman finishes for the trim. And we do still get plenty of natural light with multiple windows in the space. So overall, great layout. Obviously, they kind of matched it to the first floor layout, but it's a very traditional layout that you do see quite a bit across the board for homes here in Jacksonville. So it's just that, because of the fact that it's so popular, builders have not gone away from it, nor do I believe they're gonna go away from it in the future either. As far as for the loft up here, I mean, it's a really great size. Having all the open railing with it really does make it feel more open, really does make it feel more luxurious. And this is a great space for where it would allow you to have the first floor to be more for, the adults, so to speak. And up here could be more like the game room for the kids. It could be a space for the kids to be able to get away, have some fun with their friends, but also gives you some nice separation across the board and does give you multiple living spaces to kind of work with. And as you can see here with this large sectional couch, it is a really great size space across the board with plenty of recessed lighting and plenty of windows to obviously allow tons of natural light to come in here. I mean, really, as we just pan through, I mean, it's a really just, amazing layout and just really a great flow across the board. Even just looking down, I mean, just gives you that high-end feel at a very affordable price as well, which we'll go over later on this video. Even the chandelier is a nice touch. So then, before we get to the last space up here, I just do want to touch on really quick this storage space that they have here. You don't always get this with every builder or with every floor plan of every builder, but it's a great space here. Obviously, they have the ACs in here, but really a great space just to have additional storage. Because again, with a two-story house, you're not going to always have a lot of attic space to work with. So having a space like this to where you could store additional items, it's in a heated and cooled area. It's a huge bonus that, again, there's not many homes that allow you to do that. So if you want to know what home we're in today, so you can know how to get that, or if you want to know other floor plans with other builders that also can give you that, reach out to me with a call, a text, an email, so that way I can go over all that with you. Then we get to this last room of the second story. In this room here, they have it designed like a movie room. You could easily make it a fifth bedroom if you needed it, because it does have the closet as well. But as you can see here, I mean, it's a really great size space. We have the French doors as well coming into it, so it kind of gives you a little more of an elegance with it. And honestly, I love the way that the builder designed this, because we don't see many rooms as, designated to be like movie rooms. And it really does kind of give it a cool idea of what you can do with it. So I do like when builders like to kind of push the envelope of what they typically do with their spaces to kind of show you some different options. And I think they did an amazing job with this specific space on how they laid it out to show you just what you could do with it. But there is still more. So let's go ahead and now head downstairs and check out the rest of this beautiful model home. All right, now let's go ahead and get into the area of the house that you've been probably dying to see, the dining room, the kitchen, and the living room of this amazing floor plan. So starting right off, we have the dining room right here, which takes more of a traditional approach to where it's still an open layout, but they actually kind of tucked away the dining room as you come into the living and kitchen, to where it does have that traditional aspect of not being just wide open to the rest of your typical living areas. So one thing I love what the builder did with this is they actually did that shiplap wall as an accent wall in the space, and they did it with a slightly darker grayish brown to really kind of pop and break up a lot of the lighter whites and grays that we see in the space. In addition, I do love the fact that it shows that you can do an 8-seater table here, because it really does highlight just how large of a dining room space this is. So whether if you have a small family or a big family, you can easily fit everything you need to in this dining room. But then as we continue on through this area of the house, we get to our living room. Now this living room is massive. And one thing that helps with it is that the builder actually did a tray ceiling in here. And so with that tray, it adds another foot of height for the space. So it makes it feel even bigger than it would if it didn't have that tray. In addition with the tray, they also did crown molding and recessed lighting throughout it, as well as surround sound speakers, because for a living room, it's all about what you can do to really maximize the space, and the speakers really do help achieve that for this living room. So across the board, I do love the look of this. I love the way it's been laid out. And it does show you with how it's a large sectional couch like this with the large, large coffee table and a couple other end tables and seats. You really do get a very large space here. Now we will contrast that with our more eat-in kitchen area. So this kitchen area here, probably it's a good size, but to be honest with how big the living room is and how big the dining room is, honestly, maybe it feels a little bit on the smaller side for what you would expect. But what I will say is that they did a great job with the layout by adding tons of cabinetry up to the ceiling throughout it. You do have the little mini fridge here. So again, for drinks, it's a great space there. Again, if you want to put wine in there as well. We do have additional cabinetry on the sides here. It's still all soft close as well. We get the nice oversized KitchenAid fridge to go with it. And then you'll notice too with this kitchen, we have the nice clean quartz countertops, but they also did a really thin, really small subway tile throughout it as well. So it really does give it a very elegant look across the board, just elegant and clean, across the board. And then obviously we do have tons of cabinetry, as I already mentioned. We also have here our oven stove combo. So with this stove, it is going to be a gas stove top because we are in a gas community today. We don't have a ton of them here in Jacksonville, but this is one of them. So if you want to know exactly which one we're in today, reach out to me so I can get that for you, or you'll find it out later on in this video. In addition, we have our gas, we have our vent. It's escaping me. I got it back. But we do have our vented hood up top as well to go with the gas stove. And then we do have our first oven here. And I say first because we do have multiple ovens with this kitchen. Before we get to that, again, this island, it's a good size island. Obviously you have 2 seats at it. You could probably do 3 seats. But what I do love is you have this nice oversized single sink. And it's not like one of those farm style sinks that we do see a lot of here. So if you're someone who does not love the farm style sink look where it protrudes on the outside of the cabinetry, this gives you more that traditional look that you might be more of a fan of. So it gives you some options what you can do with this builder. But over here, we do have our second KitchenAid oven. So it is a double oven house, just not together. Most likely you probably could do one together, just depends on how you laid out your kitchen. But in this case, this one we do have our microwave as well with it, and then still plenty more storage above it as well. And our pantry here, really great size, truly a walk-in pantry, and really one of those spaces that you don't think it's gonna be as big as it is until you open up those French doors to really show it off. So it's just one of those things. I mean, for a house of this size, this is a pantry that you would probably come to expect for you and your family. So it's great that the builder gives you that plus more with this pantry. And they did just do the wire racks for these storage options, but you could obviously do custom closets either with them if they do it or after the fact as well, depending on what you're looking for your closet and pantry spaces. And they even have a little bit of like a little eat-in area here off to the side. Not necessarily that you have to have, but if you use your dining room as more of a focal point, more of a centerpiece from people come and visit, not necessarily for everyday use, this could give you that everyday use space that you don't get with the dining room that you can get right here. And if you're like me, you like to watch TV while you eat, I'm not gonna say it's a good thing or a bad thing, but having it here, in the kitchen does give you that ability to also, watch TV, for instance, while you're also, eating. But there's still more. So the next part over here that we're gonna get into is going to be our mudroom, which is gonna be right off of our garage door. And the mudroom here, they didn't do anything too crazy, but you could probably do a built-in here if you wanted it. Does kind of show you the amount of space you have to work with there. So it does give you that ability to be able to come in and take your shoes off, put your backpacks up if, for the kids, put your bags up if you need to, but have a space to be able to drop those things, more of a drop zone before you go to the rest of the house. In addition, we have our laundry room underneath the stairwell. And this laundry room is a great size. We have our washer dryer side by side with some additional cabinetry above it. And you even do get the sink in here as well. So it does kind of show you again that you do get everything you could need for this laundry room. And what I actually like is it's tucked in here, which does allow you to be able to kind of keep it closed off when you have guests over. So again, if you're having a load of laundry going and you don't want the guests to hear it, You can always close the door and no one ever even knows it's there. And then really quickly before we finish up this section of the house, I just want to highlight, and there will be a little bit of echo here, but I just want to highlight this amazing garage. So this is what they call a 3-car tandem garage. And the tandem is because you have the 2-car from the front, but then you have this 3rd car section back in here. And I love the fact that the builder did the epoxy floors for this space, because it really does make it another focal point to be able to show off to your friends, to your family, but it also makes a great space for your storage of items or even your vehicles themselves. So really just amazing across the board. You also have your main water shut off right there. And the reason you have it there and not next to say like your water heater is because of the fact that with these homes, these are gonna have your tankless gas water heaters. They're not gonna be instantaneous hot water, but once you get the hot water, you never lose it. So let's quickly now look outside before we head on to one of the best parts of the house, which is that primary bedroom. All right, so next we're gonna check out the backyard. It's an amazing model home before we finish off in the primary bedroom. And with this backyard, you know, what I love about it is it's actually very simplistic. It still gives you plenty of stuff to work with. Now the sliding glass doors here, they are actually more of an accordion style, so they actually open up all the way and they do tuck in. So you really do have that ability of bringing the outside into the inside and vice versa. But as you can see when we first come out here, we have a nice oversized covered back patio or back porch. You do have that ability that you could easily screen this in if you wanted to. And this back porch, it really is protected and really is isolated and private because of how they structured these walls to extend on both sides. So again, even if you had neighbors that, you know, so to speak on each side, they wouldn't be able to see into your backyard or your back porch area, which gives you that privacy that you don't always get with every floor plan, every builder, every neighborhood. But over here, they do have it already plumbed out for a sink. You also see that you have power over there as well. We do have our gas hookup on this side as well. So if you wanted that summer kitchen, you could easily do it over here. But then as we continue to move forward, as you can see, we have a nice oversized pavered back patio. For those cold months, which is not right this second, but those cold months, you do have your gas fire pit out here. So great for hosting, great for having people over for gatherings. Because again, with a huge backyard like this, you do have a lot of options for being able to have people over and entertaining across the board. In addition, obviously not every lot will have this, but this lot does have that beautiful lake in the back with the fountains. So having that back there really does make it just very, very elegant, but just very, very private, just very peaceful across the board. So overall, great backyard, great lot this is on. This is one of their floor plans that would be on their 60-foot wide lots. So just take that into reference, take that into account as we continue to move forward throughout this floor plan. We go over in more detail, this home in this neighborhood. But as we continue to move forward, we are now gonna head out to our primary ensuite to check out that next. Because really the primary ensuite is really the part of the house that I think you're gonna absolutely love because of what they did with the bedroom itself. So as we come into the primary bedroom, the first thing I wanna highlight is you actually do get this little area here that you could put a door to really make it more private if you wanted to. But the builder, they create this little L shape here, which does give you a lot more privacy because it kind of tucks the bedroom away from people being able to see it as they come through the living room and dining room and whatnot. You even have a little coat and alcove here that you could put something as well, such as a dresser, end table, whatever the case may be if you did close off the space further. So for this primary bedroom, we'll get to in one second, but let's actually check out the primary bathroom first. Because again, the primary bathroom is nice as well, but the primary bedroom is really where the magic happens, as they say. With the bedroom here, you're gonna see we do have double vanity. So as you would come to expect for a primary, obviously all soft close, and continues the aesthetic that we've seen with the other bathrooms in this floor plan with the countertop choice and the cabinet choice. In addition, as we come through here, you'll notice that we do have a good size walk-in closet. Now this closet here overall does give you plenty for storage, plenty of space for your clothes. Not the biggest we've seen, but still a really good size space across the board to be able to store everything you would need to store in a floor plan like this. We do have our water closet off to the side there as well. And then we do have our really nice walk-in shower here. So with the walk-in shower, they did some really light colored choices for the tile on the floor, the tile on the walls. They did the tile up to the ceiling, which I absolutely love. And with this walk-in shower, they actually give you multiple shower heads, so you have multiple handles for them. And they did it in a way to where you won't have to worry about getting wet when you turn them on. So one of those things that, sometimes you don't want to have to turn your shower on and you get wet with that cold water. But in this case, you can turn it on, let it get warm, then hop on in. In addition, this is a step down shower, so all the water does stay in it, which means you don't need to have a door. So it does allow the shower to kind of breathe a little better and let more of the moisture out of the shower as well. And then lastly, I do want to bring up the rain head. I love rain heads in these primary showers. It just really is a nice touch. Really does ultimately give you some different options there with the rain head, and then you have your typical shower heads as well over there. And we do have our seat here for being able to sit down or additional storage, as well as the little section here for your soaps, your shampoos, your toiletries, whatever you may need across the board. So overall, I do love the look of it. And let me know too, feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions about, this specific layout, this specific builder, or even how they did the shower on if you liked it or didn't like it. I'd love to know your thoughts. But now back to our regularly scheduled programming, so to speak. With this primary ensuite, right away, I will say I do love the fact, or primary bedroom, I do like the fact that it has that tray ceiling, it has the crown molding, it has the recessed lighting, the beautiful chandelier, and everything just ties in very beautifully with each other. And it goes well with this nice king size bed, really good size nightstands. We do have a really good size dresser as well. So it's really amazing primary across the board, even if it was just that. But with this primary, what really makes it stand out is you actually have this additional living space, so to speak, within the primary. So again, they have it designed as almost like your own little living room for just you and your significant other. So if you need to get away from the kids for a little bit and you just want to be able to close your door to your bedroom and be able to just do your own thing, this is a great space to do that with. And it even has that tray ceiling in here as well to match the tray in the actual primary bedroom. Now let's say that you want to have more of a office setup here. You could definitely do that as well. And you could easily use some French doors here and make this like more of an office if you wanted to be able to just have your office right off of your primary bedroom. So what I love about it is it really does give you some options there. And it's not something we see too often. And even though it makes the space even bigger, because of all the natural light that we have with multiple windows, it still feels light, still feels bright, and it's still a great look across the board. And something that is very unique to this floor plan with this builder in this community. So it's just one of those things that this floor plan does provide you quite a bit. But the cool thing about it is with the neighborhood we're in today, they have multiple floor plans to choose from that all do different things. So let's go ahead and discuss that now as far as where we're at, what floor plan this is, who built it, and also just what it means to live here in Jacksonville, Florida. So that's gonna wrap up the model home tour, this amazing floor plan that we're in today. One thing I always like to ask is, again, what would you think, what did you like the most about this floor plan, or what would you like to see most different? So at the same time, if you want to let me know that, you can comment on the comment section what you like the most or what you like to see different. I'd love to know your thoughts on it. But overall, with this floor plan, what I love about it the most is it does have a great flow to it, and it really does give you a lot to like, especially for the size of it. So if you are looking for a larger house for your family, this floor plan does give you pretty much everything you would probably want. Obviously, like we've already discussed, the kitchen might be a little bit on the smaller side for the size of the overall house, but still gives you kind of a good starting place to really give you everything else that you need outside of that. But ultimately, what I really love about this community we're in today, and the community we're in is actually the Landings at St. John's, is a Pulte-built community. And what I really love about it is it really gives you kind of best of both worlds, because you are in more of a potentially slightly more rural area of St. John's County here in Jacksonville, but you still aren't that far away from most major amenities or major areas that you want to visit. So you still get the amazing school system that is a part of St. John's County here for the public schools, but you also do have that ability to be 30 to 45 minutes away from most major attractions such as main sporting events like the Jacksonville Jaguars football games, the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp baseball games, Jacksonville Iceman hockey games are all downtown. But you also are only about 45 minutes away from the beaches, and you're about 45 minutes to an hour away from St. Augustine. So you have a lot of major attractions that are not that far away in the grand scheme of things, which will allow you to get the best price possible for the biggest house possible, but also still not be too far away at the same time. So I personally love that because it, in my opinion, kind of blends the best of both worlds. But ultimately, it's one of those things that if you are looking for something closer to the beaches, this neighborhood might not necessarily be the neighborhood for you. But if you're looking to be a little bit farther away from the beaches, it could be perfect for you. And things that I love about this neighborhood is you do still get those master planned amenities that you would get with any of the other top communities here in Northeast Florida, such as Silverleaf, Seven Pines, Rivertown, Nocatee is the biggest one. But the thing about it is you get those amenities, but you also get a much more smaller neighborhood feel because this neighborhood's only gonna have a couple thousand homes at the end of the day. In addition, with the amenities, you also are gonna have boat and RV parking here, and you also get gated communities within this neighborhood. So, it does make it more private for you and your family while you're living here. So overall, great things across the board. But also what I love about this area is, you're not too far away from most major cities. So that's the thing that people, when they live in and move to Jacksonville, it's a big reason why they choose Jacksonville is because again, living in Jacksonville only puts you 2 to 2.5 hours away from Savannah, 2 to 2.5 hours away from Orlando, 4 hours away from Tampa, 5 from Miami, and about 6 or so from Atlanta. So to be able to go and take weekend trips or getaways and only be driving distance away from some of these major communities is huge because again, some of those other major cities do sometimes have higher pricing. So this gives you a much more affordable pricing with great schools, but also within driving distance of those major cities. So across the board, that is a reason why people tend to live in Jacksonville is because of things just like that. In addition, if you like to be on the water, again, we have a really big boating and fishing community because we do have the most navigable water or navigable land that backs up to water here in the state, but also in the country as a whole. So something that is a really cool aspect about living here in Jacksonville, along with we have the most state parks in the state of Florida as well. So just, if you like to be outside, Jacksonville is a great place to be for those reasons. But getting back to this floor plan today that we're in, again, I'm sure you've been dying to know more about it. We are in the Merlot Grand floor plan, which again is built here by Pulte. And Pulte does have a 55 up section as well for their Del Webb section in this neighborhood of the landings. So again, if you're watching this and you have a older parent or grandparent that wants to live in the same general area as you, this neighborhood could kind of give you what you want, but also give them what they want as well, and still be either walking distance or a short golf cart, drive away from each other. But with this Merlot Grand floor plan, it is a 5-bedroom, 3.5 bath floor plan. It has that 3-car tandem garage, which I thought was absolutely amazing with how the builder, epoxied it and how clean it was, obviously. So the 3-car garage is a huge bonus with this. And the floor plan starts at 3,820 square feet and only goes up from there. So you do have some room there to play with to make it larger if you so desired or needed to fit you and your family's wants and needs. Because for me, it's all about helping find what makes the most sense for you and your family when it comes to living in and moving to Jacksonville. So my goal is always to discuss any and all options with you to figure out what builder, what floor plan, and what neighborhood makes the most sense for you and your family. And then finally, 2 things I'm going to highlight as we end this video are going to be the price and the incentives. The reason I wait on these is because they are always subject to change. So I always want to make sure I kind of distinctly put them, separate from everything else for the specs of the house. But for this specific floor plan, the Merlot Grand, the price starts right around $689,990,000, so just around $690,000, and that's going to give you a 60-foot wide lot in their estate section of their community. And overall, it's a great price for the amount of square footage you get here. And obviously with upgrades and whatnot, it would go up from there, but a great price to start off with to get an amazing house, just like the one we're in today. In addition, their incentives, which again are always subject to change, does vary depending on which floor plan you choose and which lot you choose with them. But one thing that I've been discussing with the site agents here is, their incentives are very competitive, and you're talking $50,000, $60,000, sometimes $70,000 of incentives across the board for their different floor plans used towards the design center, which is massive. You also do get some incentives when you use their lender, such as them paying your closing costs. And you also do get some incentives with some of their lots here, depending on which ones they may have discounts on, but you won't know that unless you reach out to me and I get you the most updated list of their inventory here with Pulte. Because with Pulte, you have two options. You can either buy one of their inventory or spec homes, or you could build from the ground up. And that's the beauty of it, is if you're watching this video and you're looking to make a move in the next couple months, they have options for you. But if you also have some time and you wanna wait a year and a half to build with them, you could definitely do that as well. So it's great across the board. And then lastly, as we wrap up this video, at the end of this video on the screen will be additional model homes that we have toured for you to be able to get a better idea of what there is out there. Some of them may even be in this community that we're in today of the landings. So I would highly suggest you look out at those and definitely check those out as well to figure out what neighborhood may make the most sense for you and your family. And again, you always have the ability to reach out to me with a call, a text, an email. I'm always here to help answer any and all questions that you and your family have about Jacksonville as a whole. So with that being said, I'll see you guys again on the next one.